Hello everybody and welcome to Notorious Yugioh. I'm Notorious Cly and I'm trying really hard to be excited right now, but I'm not. It's been a very frustrating last few days, at least for Duel Links, because I am so close to hitting King of Games, but I keep on falling just short. Like just short. I have had two 3-win streaks at King of Games broken, both by heroes, and super poly because yeah, we're not the only ones with a skill that tutors a very sacky blowout guard to our hand. That seems to be the normal for Duel Links as of late. And then I have had two 4-win streaks broken at Legend 5 in the King of Games. One of them was to Timelords, which is already a little difficult of a matchup because it's very hand dependent for you if you're going to actually be able to compete in that matchup, because most of your accessible removal is destruction based, and Time Lords resist that. And the Time Lord player went double IDP pass. So yeah, not much I can do against 2 IDP. I managed to play through the first one by holding on to a lance, and I opened a wild one and another fiend, so I held the wild one. So when they went IDP to bring back one of the fiends that I sent to the graveyard, I used the lance on the Crimson, so they couldn't get rid of the Crimson, so they got rid of the Sprinter. And then I specialed the Wild Wind, and then synchroed, got to Red Rising, Crimson, pop off with the Resonators, make Scarlight, and then they dropped the second IDP on me. There's nothing you can do about that. I did everything I could to play round 1, but I just didn't have the hand to play round 2. I guess I misspoke correctly too. I didn't have the plan to play round 2. I guess there really is no plan to play round 2. So yeah, it's been very, very frustrating last couple days. This is probably the most I've played Duel Links in a short period of time in a while. Usually I'm 76 cumulative victories over the entire King of Games season, just about the whole month, and I've compressed that into just a few days here, just under a week or whatever. So that's probably some of my frustration, is I'm grinding this game more than I'm accustomed to, and probably more than I'd like to. I could feel myself being ready to play something else, but I think that's more or less to do just with my frustrations of trying to hit King of Games and my desire to want to hit King of Games as quickly as possible, and feel good about it. So I've seen some King of Games posts come in, and most people seem to be like in this win range to the 100 plus wins. So I know it's a matter of time. It's in when I hit King of Games, not if I hit King of Games. This list is good enough, the deck is good enough, the skill carries you hard enough that you can get there. It's just about putting in enough wins, putting enough duels in, so you can eventually get the favorable 5 matchups in a row and take it home. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And to give myself a break from playing tonight and trying to hurry up so I can finish and do a King of Games profile recap and then start playing around with some other versions of the deck, I think we're just going to do some replays. I have some really cool replays, some very good ones that I'm happy to share with you. And yeah, here you can see my my record over the last few. I keep doing this thing where after I lose my King of Games rank up, I'll play another duel. Like, all right, cool, let's go, let's get it back, let's run it back, let's go, we're going. And I'll lose that one. And then instead of doing the smart thing where I take a break from the game for like an hour or so, or go do something and come back like refreshed and sharp and stuff like that, I'll be like, no, fuck it, we ain't D-ranking, let's go, third duel. And then I'll run into like a double IDP Time Lords, or I'll run into an IDP Super Poly Heroes build. And yeah, there's no playing around, there's no playing through that. Not much you can do there. So yeah, you can see the list over there. I dropped it from 24 cards, was it? 25 cards down to 21, just to see if that would help me punch through, just to have me get to my outs a little more consistently. But the funny thing that I keep coming back to is there's too many outs to run, One of the cool things about a best of one type environment where you're required to play a whole bunch of duels is a lot of stuff is viable, so you play a lot of different decks and you have a lot of cool, interesting duels and matchups. One of the bad things about that type of setup is you play a bunch of decks and there's a whole bunch of different matchups, so there's a whole bunch of stuff you have to account for. And one thing I'm realizing is you can't account for everything. And when I do try to account for everything, like in my 30 card build, usually it's a toss up if I'm going to see the right cards or not. So I always end up wanting to cut down to the more generically useful and more broadly applicable decks and cards. And then I play 3 PK players in a row and I go, you know what? Fuck it, we're putting Skullmeister back in. Throw 2 of them bad boys in there. And then, and then I don't play another PK player for like 8 or 9 duels. So I end up going like, damn, Skullmeister's dead all the time. Let's take this out. And then queued the PK players coming back into my matchmaking pool. But yeah, that's enough ranting and rambling. Let's go ahead and watch some replays. Yes. So first up is going to be against Surrender, which is a funny name. Very funny name. And Surrender is playing his Jack Atlas. So we have ourselves another mirror match, everybody. And here we go. We're going second, which does not bode well for us, because in this mirror match, when you're Roaring Soul against Roaring Soul, he who goes first or they who go first have the advantage. It's a significant advantage because they're going to be hyper consistent. They're going to get to play unobstructed. They're going to get to set their red brain, and you're very vulnerable to being interrupted around your normal summon or at like Red Rising. I'm sure all of you are well aware of this by now. So you have to open really good to be able to play through it. And our hand isn't bad. Chalice Lance and Compulse plus red, which is Archfiend, which means we get to play if it gets our turn. It's not bad. We have a lot of interactive stuff. Compulse is a little slower than I would like going second, but hey, no big deal. It'll probably come in handy later in the duel. Lance is good because it can blank one of their back row. Maybe I can find a way to play around their red rain by chaining Lance to one of the monsters I managed to put on board, and maybe I top deck something and can keep synchro climbing, because I know if I can break their board, I'm putting them in a bad spot. It might be okay. And Chalice is always good for follow-up to help shut them down from cracking back at me. But yeah, so never fun going second against the mirror match, but you know, it happens. It's actually kind of funny because I used to enjoy going second in the mirror match because the person who went second had the advantage, because you could break your opponent's board because they wouldn't have any consistent, meaningful interaction to put out there. So it would just be like, they're going to make probably Nova pass, or they're going to, you know, Red Rising plus a couple Resonators pass, and you're just going to eat them alive. But oh yeah, let's continue on. So they're Roaring Soul around it. What do they dump? They dump a Crimson from deck, Wildwind from hand. That's pretty good. Add the Sprinter. Normal Sprinter in set 3. Cool. Hooray. This is looking pretty good, guys. This is looking really great. Red Rising, take Crimson, 2 red. You guys know this. It's kind of weird not seeing me being the one doing it. Scarlight, Red Dragon, Archfiend. And they're going to make Nova. Okay, so a couple things. They went set 3 and made Nova. This tells me that they like almost 100% opened Red Rain, or they didn't, which might even be worse for us because that means they opened 3 other things that require less conditional activation requirements. But so yeah, if this is just Nova Pass, it's pretty beatable. If it's set 3 pass, it's a little more difficult. Nova plus set 3 pass, that's gonna be a tough cookie to crack. Let's see what we do here. So we top deck Wildwind. Not bad at all. So we are going to go ahead and send the red from hand here, send the Crimson from deck, and we're gonna do the thing I talked about earlier, which is like, hey, we top deck the way to extend. So let's say I normal Sprinter, special Crimson back. They decide, all right, goodbye, bucko, and use Red Rain. We can use Lance to protect the Crimson, special Wildwind, and then keep comboing off. So let's see. We know how we're gonna play it, or at least try to play it. Let's see what they do. So they're gonna let us get to Red Rising. Red Rising, bring back Crimson. Crimson effect, spam the board with 1, and we're gonna go 1 here because I don't want to clog my main monster zones to a potential Pokemon. And my intended synchro summon target here is actually Tyrant, because I have Forbidden Chalice. I can always activate Tyrant, see if they'll chain anything, activate Chalice, negate the Nova, and if they don't have anything, I can just blow up everything, blow it all up. And then if they did, you know, try to Red Rain the Tyrant, I could always, you know, use Lance to try and force out something else. I hope that was a good explosion sound. Maybe I have career voice effects if, you know, playing Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't work out for me. So they're going to go Red Rain here, which is not great, but it's fine. We'll use the Lance on the Crimson just to keep it around. Chose Crimson over Red just because I want to be able to put Crimson back in graveyard for future top deck scenarios, so I can always pull out other Red Resonators from deck using that Crimson. So we set 2 here, and I made a business decision to not go ahead and keep Synchro Summoning and Synchro Climbing because I think I saw these 2 were activatable after the Crimson stuck. It passed priority to them, and then it went back to me. So I elected to wall up, and I think I made that executive decision after I had special the Wild One. If I was just going to wall up, I probably would have kept the Wild One in hand just so a top decked red gets me 2 combo. But slight mistake on my part, and they got the MST, which is great. So they're going to take away one of the key parts of interaction here. And they hit the Compulse, which is our out to Nova. Yeah, things are looking great, everybody. Things are looking real great. So they're going to Wild Wind banish our Crimson, special. Man, it's a red from hand, which isn't bad. At least they're not going to value it out of the deck. And they're going to smash, and poke with Crimson, which is okay, because we have a ton of life points. They have a ton of life points. We have a ton of life points. So we're going to top deck a red Sprinter. And there's some hope here. So we're going to Sprinter, bring back Crimson, Red Rising effect, Crimson, special 1, red effect, gain some life points. And we're going to make Tyrant here, and we're going to see what happens. Tyrant into prayer, let's go. Tyrant effect, they chain Lance, we chain Chalice. Chalice resolves before Lance. We blow up the board. We poke with Tyrant. We are living. We cleared the board. Okay, we top deck Red Rain. Oh, we get to go Wild Wind for Oovaloop. And we poke. And we poke. We're stacking on damage. We have Red Rain. They need 2 cards to combo. They top deck, and they do not find the second card. We managed to play our way out of that. Holy crap. I'm trying not to swear, so I ended up like not saying shit and said crap. I hope all of you don't mind my swearing. I'm trying to correct it. But I find it's slipping in a little bit more here on YouTube, so I'm gonna try and even that out for the kids, I suppose. So holy guacamole, everybody! Did I ever make it out of that one? Casual reminder: you're not playing the deck; you're playing the player. Sometimes they're gonna preemptively chain Lance, and you're gonna be able to chain Chalice and win. Next up is Zuzu Boyle, and for those of you keeping track at home, that was Tyrant for 4. So still no new high score in the Tyrant minigame. I wonder what your high score is. Please let me know. Please send me the replay. I'm gonna try and make like some kind of big complimation. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. So they're on Solfachords, and yeah, at the beginning of this duel, still no idea what they do. Still not a single clue. I could read the cards, but that would not be, you know, true to form. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. We don't read. So they're gonna go ahead, pen summon, get their whole setup, search their trap, and I see a very intimidating looking board because I see 2 pen scales, 3 monsters, 2 back row. That's kind of crazy. This deck can pop off just a little bit. Funny how they start with 4 cards in hand and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards on field, and then an 8th card face up in the extra deck, so 4 cards got them 8. That's pretty damn good. And after actually dueling this duel, I kind of like Solfacords. I don't know how good they are, but they have some very novel, cool, interesting, neat, whatever descriptor you want to use. Some really cool forms of interaction and interruption. So Butea, no idea if I pronounced that right. Quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster, or face up spell trap if you have an odd scale, because that's their gimmick. They get different effects based on even or odd scales being present, and you can target it, and when it leaves the field, it's banished, which is a really like novel and interesting form of interruption, and kind of like lines up well against like resonators, because you normal summon your Sprinter, you special back your Crimson, you go ahead and use Butea targeting the Crimson. I like synchro summon, and then my Crimson gets banished. that's a really cool form of interruption. I think, well, not I think, but I wish more Yu-Gi-Oh cards were designed like this, where it was interaction and disruption instead of like just big blanket negation or blowout or something like that. I think constantly being in this back and forth duel and trading cards and interactions with your opponent is really cool and interesting. And doing stuff like pops, banishes, spins, bounces, flip downs, banish when they leave the field, stuff like that is much more interesting to me than just telling your opponent no, than just like, I would like to perform action in game, and then you go, you may not perform action in game, and then just doing that back and forth at each other the entire time. But anyways, so very novel, neat form of interaction. So that's their only meaningful action on board right now, and they also have Musica. I'm really bad with the pronunciations in general, and I'm even worse tonight. I don't know how you guys watch me. But this is pretty cool. So they have evens and odds. They can target a card I control and destroy it. Again, really cool, neat, novel form of interaction. And kind of cool activation requirement or setup required for it, where you need to have like even and odd scales. Pretty cool deck. Really neat. Really interesting. So we're going to top deck a Sprinter, which is great for follow-up. Roaring Soul. We're going to send red, send crimson. And we're going to do the same thing here, where we want to keep the Wild Wind online just in case anything happens. And then we have Forbidden Lance, so we know we can blank at least the Musica. So I don't know what their other set is, but we want to be able to try and extend and play through that. So we're going to Book of Moon, their interaction, their banish face-up card when it leaves the field kind of thing. And they're going to use Musica instead of popping to bring out Kulia, and Kulia is pretty cool. When an effect of a monster on the field is activated with an equal or lower attack than the highest pendulum scale in your pendulum zone times 300, you can destroy that monster. That's really neat too. So you can destroy a monster that activates his effect. You can basically just ghost ogre it, as long as its attack is lower than, right now would be 2,400. So really cool. Really cool, neat form of interaction. So I'm going to activate Sprinter's effect. They're going to Kulia to pop. We're going to get Crimson back. Special Wild Wind. Red Rising effect, Crimson, and they have a Book of Moon set, but no big deal. We've got the Forbidden Lance. We're going to lance it, keep it face up. Crimson, we're going to get one, and gain some life points along the way. Tyrant, Red Dragon, Archfiend. Tyrant, Red Dragon, Archfiend. New high score, everybody. We've got Tyrant for 5. Dewey, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we've got Tyrant for 6. 6. New high score, everybody. I don't know how you're topping that. You should just quit while you're ahead. Tyrant for 6. Tyrant's going to head and smash them. They're going to top deck. They're going to normal summon a monster at Fancia. And at this point, they realize like they've got nothing. I'm just going to nuke them all again and swing for game. Tyrant for 6. New high score. All right, we have another mirror match against my fellow Jack Atlas enjoyer. And we're going second again. And they're going to rank down. That's no bueno. So they're going to go first. Their opening hand is pretty good again. Compulse. Wish that would be something else, but it's too good for me to take out. Might end up getting cut. We'll see. They're going to do the normal thing. Sprinter. Red Rising. Crimson. Red. And they only want 2 there. And they're going to make Tyrant. And set 2. This, to me, is an easy read. They have Tyrant, Red Dragon, Archfiend. They didn't stop at Scarlight. And they have 2 set cards. One of those is like 100% Red Rain. That's my read. So I'm going to try and play around Red Rain here. So we've got Lance, which is nice. We can try and game it, play around it. And if the other one is a meaningful form of interaction, I think we can play around that too with the Lance, depending on what we draw. So we draw an Oovaloop here. And I go ahead and normally Oovaloop. Since it's a Fiend type tuner with 1500 or less attack, we can special Wild Wind. And I really wanted to do this because my read is Red Rain here. I probably need to put my mouse up for these replays because I always point with my mouse instead of just interacting with the camera. I try to interact with the screen. So we're gonna normal the Oovaloop so we can special the Wild Wind and then Synchro and 8, and we're gonna go for Darken. And I'm gonna do that to force the removal of Tyrant, which means they'll have to chain Red Rain and clear the board for me, which means I get to go ahead and use my skill to dump red for the sprinter play. So I get to play into an open board, they open the board for me, and then I get to make whatever synchro I want. Probably Nova is what I would be thinking, just because Nova would be able to run over the Tyrant, which would put them in a bad spot, and then I'd have at least Compulse to try and disrupt them. And they would be playing on 3 cards, I think, top deck, the Resonator they grab, and whatever's left in hand. So I can always time that out for a good spot. Wait until they burn their normal, wait until they get to a synchro play, and I'll just use it before they can use the effect. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. So Ubaloop, Wild Wind, they're going to Book a Moon. And odd to not see the red rain here, but we're going to go ahead and use Lance there just to keep it face up. Darken, and I really want to force that red rain. But it's not red rain. It's Cosmic Cyclone. I got next leveled something fierce on this one. Because had I known the 2 sets were Book a Moon Cosmic, I'm going up TK all day. I'm going right for it. But I got next leveled. They ended up going Tyrant set 2 pass, bluffing a red rain, which it worked. It got me. It got me. 100% got me. So we're gonna lose the Compulse here, and we're sitting on Darken. So they're gonna Wild Wind, stack their hand with the Crimson, and they're gonna go ahead and Sprinter, bring back Crimson, Synchro, Red Rising. Go ahead and bring back Crimson, special red. Red gain life. They only specialed 1 again. No idea why. They're gonna go Scarlight, Roaring Soul. I don't know why. Oh, they kept it in hand so they could set Red Rain. That's why they only did the 1 red. And they're just gonna attack. I don't know why they didn't destroy and then poke. I could have been way lower on life points. And what can I say, people? Sometimes you got it. When you're good, you're good. When you're the man, you're the man. You top deck Cosmic Cyclone. No big deal. So we Cosmic. Get rid of the red rain, Wild Wind, get us an Ubaloop. We're going to go ahead and Roaring Soul because we haven't used it yet, send an Ubaloop. So we have our 1 card red rain set up. They know it. They know the duel is over. And we get out of there with a win. Next up is against Zeon. And we're going to go first. And they're going to be on Timelords. It's no doubt about it. And our hand is... Alright, I suppose. I guess that works out. Makes our decision very easy. This is going to be a Nova set 2 Red Rain pass. Because Nova plus Red Rain is like a decent win condition against Timelords. Nova guarantees that you'll always have the biggest level. And then Red Rain ensures that your Nova cannot be messed with. So 2 of them is great here too, because we can use 1 defensively and the 1 offensively. So we can blank whatever they have set. And also blank their Time Lord on their turn like we did right there. We're going to top deck, normal red, and they see the game is over. And I normaled red there because I wanted to make sure Red Rain was online, just in case that was like a Book of Moon or something. I didn't want to just blindly crash with Nova, because then Red Rain's not activatable, and I can't, blank out their 1 set card. So, nice easy duel. Always nice to sneak out a win against Time Lords. Nice that it lasted 3 turns and not 17. So, good stuff. And for our last replay of the night, we have another mirror match, everybody. This deck is everywhere. I kind of liked it when I was the only one playing it on the ranked ladder. And we won a coin flip this time, so that's always nice to see. So, pretty great opener, actually. Crimson is never a bad send-off skill, because it means you get to dump a Wild Wind and then stock your hand with a Resonator or an Ubaloop, depending on if you're playing Ubaloop or not. And then opening Red Sprinter is never a terrible thing. It offers you an interesting decision in, do I keep the 2nd Red Sprinter for follow-up, or do I trade it in for the Red Rain and try to maximize my turn 1 end board? I really like 3 Sprinter. I think 3 Sprinter might be correct if you're going to play Pure, just because it offers so much follow-up potential. I like having more Sprinter than I do more Resonators, because Sprinter does everything by itself after you set it up the first turn with your skill. So instead of needing to top deck and have 2 cards in my hand, I only need to top deck 1 Red Sprinter. I like Red Sprinter way better. So let's see how we play it. I have a feeling I remember. So we're going to Sprinter, Crimson, Red Rising, target Crimson Resonator, special back Crimson Resonator, special 2 reds from deck, Red Resonator, target Red Rising Dragon, gain 2,100 life points. Synchro 7 for Scarlight, Red Dragon Archfiend, and we're going to go ahead and trade out just to maximize the turn 1 board. I feel pretty good about our ability to win this duel if our turn 1 board sticks, because we'll have Red Rain, we'll have Book of Moon, and we'll have Compulse. And I make an interesting decision here. I think this was one of my first duels with Bane in the extra deck, so I made Bane. This is a little vulnerable to being hit with like Book-a-Moon or Dark Hole or something like that, just because Red Rain is not activatable. Normally, I always advocate for keeping Red Rain activatable, except for in specific matchups where you know your opponent is going to have an easy time getting high-level monsters on the board, like Blue Eyes. And I think I was still testing the right turn 1 end board in the mirror match here. So we make Bane just so I can let them get all the way to an 8 if I need to, and then use Red Rain and then save the Comp Pulse and the Book-a-Moon if need be. So they're going to go ahead and Roaring Soul, they're going to dump, let's see what they dump. They dump a Wild Wind and a Crimson. Normal Red Sprinter, and Synchro, Red Rising, target Red. And they're going to go ahead and try to Book-a-Moon here. And probably a rookie mistake on my part. I felt a little confident having the Compulse and the Book-a-Moon set that I let them book my Bane and turn the Red Rain off because I felt good about my other two interactions. And keeping that Red Rain live means these two interactions will carry me to the next turn. Red Rain helps me finish off the duel. So we're going to Compulse here. They're going to Lance. We're going to Book. They're going to Lance. Oh, double Lance. And they're just going to pop off here. They're going to go into Scarlight. Then they're going to go ahead and make Bane. Then they're going to go Bane, tribute off the extra Resonator to get Scarlight back. Smash, smash. And they know this is Red Rain because that's why I said it. And when you're good, you're good. You top deck the Sprinter. You go Red Rising, Dragon, Red Rising, bring back Crimson. Crimson special. Couple Resonators. Go ahead and Synchro for Tyrant, Red Dragon, Archfiend. And we Tyrant here. So we could why'd we Tyrant instead of go Nova? I think we went Tyrant just to kind of kill their follow-up. That might have been a mistake. Anyways, we snuck away with it. Not bad at all. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for the duel replays today. Hope you enjoyed all of these. Hope they were fun, informative. Hope you enjoy seeing my new Tyrant minigame high score of 6. Please try to top that. You won't. I'm the Tyrant King. And yeah, hopefully I can hit King of Games soon and we can wrap up this King of Games season, this ranked duel season a little early, and I can get to the KC Cup and start playing some different stuff, some new stuff, some fresh builds, some new ratios, all that kind of good stuff. And until then, be safe, have fun everybody.